biggest boss and I've been a trillist. I'm a bigger problem when I click with Skrillex. Murder on my mind, it's time to pray to God.
Welcome to the After Party Hangover. I am your host, Mangria Fueled, and this is a show that talks about a show that talks about a show. Welcome to episode 50, and like I said on episode 40, I like to do something different every 10 episodes. I've been through everything on Anchor, GoToMeeting, the tripod sessions, and now we're going to try Zoom. So these will be vidcasts for the next 10 episodes. And welcome my first vidcast guest on episode 50. I got your intro all written down and everything, so let me do this all professional. He schools us all in hashtag warfare. He gives Jake the business, and we love him for it. The Shawn Michaels of the hashtag world order, and the Riggs to Caesar's Murtaugh and the SRAPD. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I proudly bring to you SRAP Hall of Famer, Stixy Drip Drip Stix motherfucking Adam. What is going on, my man? Welcome to episode 50.
Mangria, just like Jake, you're going to take my virginity on a Zoom meeting.
Oh, shit, man. Well, how's it been going? How you been doing, man?
Not too bad, kind of taking in the whole, still wrestling with a little bit of a crowd, but it's not going too bad. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I wrote down your stats here. The very first interview we did was October 19th, 2019, episode 11 of the After Party Hangover. And now let's fast forward all the way to 2020. We are in August. This is August 1st. What has happened since then? Marriage, kids? Did you win the lottery? Like, what's been going on since October 19th?
Nothing much. Nothing really has changed. Just that now we only have, monthly SRAP podcasts now instead of weekly, which kind of sucks. But hopefully everything's going to change. Hopefully things will get better and we'll get back on track.
Yeah, it's just another fucking side effect from this COVID thing, which brings me to my next question. How has COVID affected your life? Because it's changed the world for the worse. It's affected our SRAP listening, but how has it affected your life personally?
I didn't get laid off. I really kept my job throughout, and if anything, it's made work suck because now, instead of not having to wear a mask, now we've gone from actually having to wear cloth masks, and now they're providing us surgical masks, but outside of that, just wearing a mask, just everywhere you got to go now. Speaking
of that, I thought you'd appreciate this, so I brought it. My wife bought me my mask, and I've been wearing it ever since this shit has started. I don't know if you can see. This is my mask.
Oh, shit.
Custom made. My wife got it for me. I've been wearing that ever since. So all these Raider fans that I live around are all pissed off at me. But, hey, at least I ain't got COVID.
Damn straight.
That's right. Well, this is a pretty loaded question, but it's going to be along the lines of my new question from here on out on video podcasts. It's been beaten to death, but I am very curious to know the SRAP Army's very own Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Stixadam, who are the four faces on your Mount Rushmore?
When you gave me that to mull about it last night, it took a long time to think about it because this is literally a loaded question.
Yep.
But I came up with Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
I came up with Undertaker.
Nice.
And then the next two were really hard, but I went with Chris Jericho.
Nice.
And then this one's just me being being personal and being me, AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, wow.
It came down between AJ and really with me, Randy Orton. But I went with AJ because I wanted to have a little person. It was personal to me because with AJ, when I went to college, I kind of dipped out of wrestling, so I missed a lot. But when I got back into it, my first wrestling match I watched was AJ Styles when TNA was on. I believe it was Spike Network when they had him on there. I believe it was him and Christopher Daniels, I believe, was the first match. And when I saw him, I was like, damn, I got to keep an eye on this guy. And I've been following him ever since.
Wow. Okay, cool. That's a pretty unique one because HBK and Taker, I'm pretty sure, will be on most of people's Mount Rushmores. But Jericho and Styles, those are good choices as well. Another question I'm going to be asking is, what was the last movie you watched? Just at home, or just at home because we can't go to the theater.
Because of you gave me the sleepaway camps.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you did some more research after that, but they did like 3 or 4 after that.
Oh, believe me, I've seen them.
I believe the last one I watched was Sleepaway Camp 2. I have 3 on deck, and I can't find the one that they made back. I think it was Return to Sleepaway Camp. I can't find that one that they did back in 2008 or 9.
Yep, Angela returns in that one, and I bought that one on VOD on Xbox Live. I don't know if you could do the same, but as soon as I saw Sleepaway Camp, I went down the Sleepaway Camp rabbit hole, and I watched everything. I did all the research. I listened to podcasts of her. I became a massive fan, and I was this close to meeting her, but the funds weren't there. She was at another like LA Fan Fest, like what I did with The Undertaker, but it was like a horror movie, like Comic-Con, and I couldn't go because it cost too much, but so close to meeting her.
Yeah, I had to download, I think it's the Voodoo app to find Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, but I can't find the Return to one on Voodoo, and I'm gonna have to do some more research. But I'm since you told me about that, I went down that rabbit hole, and I'm almost to the end, but I'm not quite there yet.
Part 4 is on YouTube. It's an unfinished sequel. I think it's only like 20 minutes long, and it's a different actress again because, Felissa Rose was the original Angela, and then they got, I think, Springsteen's daughter to be the next Angela in the other sequels. And then Part 4 was just some ridiculous, unfinished sequel that sucks, but I still watched it anyway because I'm a completist.
Yep, I agree with you on that one.
Okay, another new thing I'm going to be doing on the After Party Hangover is I'm going to start doing random polls, and you are the last vote. So, the random After Party Hangover poll question of the week, Stix, what is your favorite Tom Hanks movie? There's a lot.
I know. It seems there's a lot that comes on TV, but the one that I usually end up stopping and watching is obviously Forrest Gump. And it's always the one that always ends up getting made fun of, but I mean, there's that one, but I watched Castaway once. I really couldn't get into it. I really can't go back and watch it where it's like Forrest Gump is always the one that you can always watch, and it always, I don't want to say it holds up, but it was always one that it'll make you laugh.
So that's your vote? It's your official vote?
Yeah.
Okay, you make number 17 then. Out of 17 votes, the most reoccurring answer was Forrest Gump. So Forrest Gump got 5 out of the 17 votes. So that's just, it's not like a competition or anything. I'm just curious. That's why I call it a poll. But yeah, I won't say who voted for what. But I mean, obviously everyone knows I voted Forrest Gump as well. So we voted Forrest Gump. Second place was Catch Me If You Can, the one with Leo. That got second. I watched that once, but it didn't really stick in my brain. I do have a funny fact about that movie. There's a complete, on the DVD, all the deleted scenes are Tom Hanks being gay. Like, he was supposed to be gay in that movie, but they cut that from the entire movie. He was a gay. He's chasing Leo. It's the whole thing. But there's so many other movies that were mentioned. Won't You Be My Neighbor? A League of Their Own, Da Vinci Code, Big, Turner and Hooch, Money Pit, Toy Story, The Burbs, The Terminal, and Castaway.
See, I forget about League of Your Own. I forget about that one.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting to put the feelers out there to get people's opinions. And now, before we get to the NXT AEW review, another thing I'm going to do weekly is the weekly after party hangover hypothetical question. Okay. Stixadam. Would you rather be able to summon as many Dark Order minions as you want to do your bidding, and they just poof vanish, just like Meeseeks on Rick and Morty? Or would you rather be able to float 12 inches off the ground anytime you want?
I'd probably do the minions.
The minions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of so many instances where floating 12 inches off the ground would help. But I mean, if you have minions doing your bidding and that, like, it never comes back to you, that's like the ultimate. Like, hey, go rob that liquor store. Hey, go pick me up a burger and some fries. Hey, do a dance for me.
Well, the sad thing is the only thing I would use them for would be like, hey, go to the fridge and grab me a can of pop or grab me a can of beer. It's a sad thing. That's the only thing I would use them for.
Go walk the dog.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, got that. This is what I do, what people don't see on the fucking Hangover, is my trying to organize my shit. Alrighty, let's get into it. You got your notes ready?
Oh, yeah.
For this past Wednesday's NXT. We kick it off with Io Shirai coming out and gets attacked on stage immediately by Dakota Kai. Tegan comes to help. Candice follows. Then we kick off our first match of the night, Io Shirai and Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae, the Poison Pixie. Dakota Kai looking extra sexy, wearing a garter belt get-up. I love that. Io with the Lotus lock to Tegan, very unique sit-down arm submission. I like that. Io she just keeps impressing me every week with her wrestling and the new shit that she pulls off. Io was on fire during this match. Dakota really took an ass whoop in this match, notably from the punishment from Tegan and the headbutt. Io double stomping her in the corner. After the shiniest wizard by Tegan and the moonsault from Io gets the pin for the win. Tegan kept bowing to Io after the match, but Io never saw it. I thought that was funny. Like, Io was looking at the spectators going, yeah, and Tegan was just like waiting for her to look at her to bow. Pat McAfee. Oh, that's next. Okay. What are your thoughts on this match, Stix?
I noticed that Straight Sonya didn't come out with Dakota Kai, which I want to say, I think the last time Dakota Kai came out, I think she was absent too, which kind of makes me wonder, do we have a little bit of a breakup there, or was she not involved in the tapings? Tegan Nox is my Captain Marvel. And the one thing I always know when Io does her moonsault, that thing has no air underneath it. That thing is a straight line moonsault every time she lands it. And the last couple times that she's landed, she hasn't landed flush. She's kind of landed like this one. She landed on. She kind of landed on. I believe it was on their head.
Yeah.
Like last time she won the title, she didn't land that flush. She landed on the head too. So it's like you need to. She
got all those baby making hips on Candice's forehead.
Yeah. But otherwise, it was a good match. I noticed that too. What you talked about with Tegan bowing, Io's just holding the title. She's pointing the title. She's like, "I'm number one. I'm number one." It's like, oh yeah, we get it. It's your division. Also, acknowledge your tag partner for Christ's sake. Come on. But I also noticed too that Dakota, like, I think she exited the ring.
Yeah, she left Candice high and dry. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, is that going to come back to bite her later on down the road too? Like, is Candice going to be like, oh, you left me high for dry? Now I'm going to come back and get you?
Yeah, Dakota's not making many friends. And like you said, with Straight Sonya not coming out, I was either thinking Rona or, like you said, possible breakup. But, I mean, they weren't together that long. What was it, like 2 months? Like 2.5 months or something? They need to stretch that out longer because they keep calling him the Shawn and Diesel of NXT. But why split them up so soon? I have to imagine it's got to be a Rona thing. Or what if Straight Sonya's getting called up? I mean, I don't fucking know what's going on.
Well, you know, with especially with her, with any good heel, if you can have like literally have muscle, that makes you more hated to get you more heat. And that's what she needs. I mean, we're going to go down this road of her being a heel. And then now, obviously, I guess they're either turning EO babyface, or she's just going to be like she's going to have like she's not going to be like a straight babyface, but she's going to be kind of have like a little bit of an attitude. So it's like if she's going to play her heel, having her with the muscle to kind of, when they do have a match, if she's out there and like when Dakota with the referee allows Raquel to hit her with her behind the ref's back, stuff like that. You need something like that.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't break them up.
Yeah, I hope they don't break them up either. I don't want to pray that it's a Rona thing because that's a health thing. But I mean, I hope they don't break up. But yeah, like you said, it was a really good opener. Afterwards, was it you that sent the Pat McAfee video to the chat? Okay, because I wouldn't have known about this if you hadn't sent it. So as soon as you sent that to the group, I watched it immediately, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, there's no way that could be real. I mean, he's cursing and saying the F word and everything, but I don't know. It just seems kind of weird that they would replay. And then when they replayed it on NXT, I was like, okay, that was a work. That was a work. But what are your thoughts on that little Pat McAfee, Adam Cole exchange?
I'm actually surprised that they didn't do it sooner because, I mean, you could tell there was, if you follow wrestling on like Twitter and even like during some of the pre-shows, you kind of tell there was a little bit of heat there between the two. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really a big fan of kind of bringing outside interferences in to do like possible wrestling matches, especially if they don't really have much experience. I mean, from all we've seen, like the interview, Pat was like, well, I bought a wrestling ring because I was drunk one night, saw it on the internet, and essentially, like, I took one day of wrestling from a guy, and I know I got wrestling bumps.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you watched the interview that he had with Hunter. I think it was like that Monday.
It was the following. Yeah.
It was Triple H kind of like, well, you both were in the wrong, and he's like, Pat, you kind of do push buttons, so it's like this is kind of what you get when you're poking the bear, but. It'll be interesting. I mean, I know Pat's getting married this weekend, and he's going to be off for like the whole week. So I watch his show through the week, and he had said that he was going to be gone this coming next week, and they were going to be on a honeymoon. So it's like, okay, the chips are kind of falling. Where it's like, I just wonder how they're going to do it. It's like, is he going to legit get in the ring, or is it going to be one of those things where he'll get somebody from like the NXT locker room to fight for his honor or fight for him or something like that. So it's going to be interesting because I kind of wonder if, like, I know this is kind of preluding what's happening, but it's like, I wonder if they're going to re-kick up Imperium and Undisputed Era because they were kind of heading down that path before Corona hit.
Yeah. And
so it's going to be interesting to see how they go forward with both these programs.
With the whole Pat McAfee thing, what I was thinking while I was taking notes, I was thinking, well, Adam Cole is not going to be facing anybody for any title anytime too soon that I know of. I was thinking maybe they need something for TakeOver. They need some kind of special attraction. Like if they put it on TV again, what if Pat McAfee and Adam Cole headline like night one of TakeOver 30 or something? That would be like a spectacle to help them win ratings. But even if they put it on a weekend TakeOver, it'll still be it's like their celebrity match. I just pray he's better than Gronk. I hope Pat McAfee did his homework. He actually does take this serious and is better than Gronk if he does get into the ring.
Well, listening to him, he's a wrestling fan, and I would certainly hope that since, he bought a wrestling ring drunk, I would really hope that if he knew he was going into something like this, he would maybe put a little bit of effort into it so that way when he shows up, he doesn't look so stiff and horrible. But I don't know. I'm with you, and hopefully maybe it does bring some new eyes. I mean, I'm assuming that's what WWE would want, is that when you branch out something like this, you bring in a little bit more eyes, some of their fans. But I would think that some of the people that he has tuned into his show somewhat do watch wrestling since he has been on pre-shows and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully it's not a crappy thing that they do if they do have it on TakeOver 30.
I mean, going up against Adam Cole, he's like the cream of the crop. He's like the best on that roster, and they're throwing, if they do this match, they're throwing some dude who's going to be doing wrestling for the first time. I mean, Adam Cole's going to make him look good regardless. But, I mean, Pat McAfee better take this shit serious.
Yeah.
But moving on, after the commercial break, we get Johnny Gargano comes out versus Roddy Strong. I wrote down a very awesome back and forth between these two heels. It's a heel versus heel match again. The crowd not really cheering for one person. It seems like they were just appreciating the match. Gargano with a submission fest targeting Roddy's arm. After the commercial, Roddy comes back with chops and strikes. Gargano, when he was being chopped, he ducked a chop, but Roddy still like connected with the side of his hand to Gargano's eye and his face. It was a pretty even matchup until Gargano hit the final beat DDT for the win. A great match. I was sports entertained. Stix, what did you think about this incredible matchup between Johnny Wrestling and Roddy Strong?
The few notes that I have on it was one, that it was a good technical wrestling match, which you're going to get out of both of them.
Yeah.
And Johnny had some really good reversals in him.
Yeah.
And just that both guys are really good wrestlers. They're kind of raising up there where they can have a good match with just about anybody. And noticing that Roddy's been on a losing streak lately. I mean, I know all the Undisputed Era had been, but in my opinion, he's kind of been like the weak member out of all four of them, because he was the first to lose his title.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of been, he hasn't really gained traction ever since then.
I know. I mean, like you said, they're kind of foreshadowing a possible jump to the main roster because they keep losing. They all keep losing. And I know we're going to talk about this later, but I don't see Undisputed Era defeating Imperium unless they want to do the war between Undisputed and Imperium finally, because they got Walter's fat ass on a jet finally to come over here. But yeah, I don't see them winning any more titles. They need to move on. They've done everything they can do in NXT. They need to go and save Monday Night Raw or save SmackDown or whatever, because there's a lot more things for them to do there. But after the match, Dakota Kai was interviewed, and then Slim Shady, Rhea Ripley approaches. They both want EO. Do you have any thoughts on the bleaching of Ripley?
Oh my God. I got up to the kitchen and got something to drink from the kitchen, and my girlfriend was watching me. She said, "Sweet Jesus, Rhea dyed her hair." And I was like, "What does it look like?" She's like, Remember Eminem back in the day? I poked my head around the corner. I was like, oh my God. But I noticed two things. One, Dakota made the emphasis that she wasn't a team player anymore. And also, too, I know I'm going to hammer this up, but she didn't have straight Sonya in the back. So I just found like direct correlation of she's not a team player anymore, and she didn't have her backup. So it's like, is she solo now, or is straight Sonya in quarantine? Or I just noticed those three things. And yes, Rhea Ripley looks horrible. Don't dye your hair, ladies. Keep doing what you're doing if it's working.
You notice that Rhea Ripley changed her entire gear for WrestleMania and she lost, and now she's changing her hair color. That bitch gonna lose again.
Oh, she's going on a losing streak for a while till she gets called up.
Do you think did she stop there, or does her taco look like she doubled down on the shredded queso?
I'm gonna have to say she doubled down.
Double down? Okay. Yeah, it's probably for her man wanted it or something. But after the commercial break, Thatch Can interviewed about his upcoming triple threat match as the God of Goats stares in the background, jerking his gherkin. What did you think about that pretty fucking funny segment? That's going to be Dexter Loomis's his bit now. He's just going to be staring in the background, whacking it.
Loomis just standing back there lurking made that whole segment. I totally tuned out of Thatcher talking. It was just like Loomis was staring into my soul, and I was like, there is a reason why you are the God of Goats, my man. Keep doing what you're doing, and let's go.
I have a lot more to say about the God of Goats later, but that was a funny segment, just seeing him do that. That's his thing now. It's funny. After this, Kyle O'Reilly approaches the Undisputed Era. He's getting everyone hyped. Then, welcome to the ball pit. Shotzi about to get murdered by my girl Eminem of the Robert Stone brand. This leads us to Shotzi Blackheart versus Mercedes Martinez with the Robert Stone brand. Mauro mentions Mercedes Martinez looks straight out of Mortal Kombat, which I did say she had the Sub-Zero interest a couple weeks ago.
Yes,
I thought that was kind of funny. What Mercedes Martinez lacks in neck, she makes up for in reach. Those are the longest arms in the business. My God. She's got some freaky ass long arms, man.
Armstrong.
God damn. She might not have a neck, but my God, those arms. If she was a boxer, she'd be the fucking champion immediately. She's still in full Shayna gear. They're not changing up her fucking attire. Whatever. Shotzi had some offense, but after that top rope release German suplex, it was over. Eminem hits the air raid siren pin for the win. Mercedes Martinez solidifies her power top position in the Robert Stone brand and in her taco bumping league. Stixadam, what are your notes on this quick matchup?
Like you first said, my first notes was welcome to the ball pit, which is obviously pointed out every time she comes down in her micro tank. We got the newest member of the Robert Stone brand, Miss Sub-Zero / Miss Hannibal Lecter, because of the face.
Yeah.
And Martinez looks like Shayna 2.0 in her getup. And I'm kind of interested with this odd pairing of her with the Robert Stone brand, because Robert Stone was like, he kind of was going for like the glitz and glamour. And then he tried going with Rhea, and obviously Rhea was just like, no, get out of here. You're bothering me. And then he got lucky and got Martinez. So it'll be interesting to see how far they take this and how far it'll go.
You know, it'll be interesting to see if Eminem and Aaliyah go after Sasha and Bailey. That would be an interesting tag team matchup. I want to see Mercedes Martinez beat the shit out of Bailey. I want to see that soccer mom's hair fly all over the fucking places. Mercedes just beats the shit out of her, man. I hope that happens in the near future.
And like Martinez before the rebrand, I was really hoping that after the last Mae Young, I was hoping she was going to get signed, but I think it was she still had some prior commitments. And my girlfriend's really into her, and she had read that she was outside of doing wrestling. She was doing like jobs to keep money coming in, because I believe she has a kid or has some kids, so she wanted to stay financially afloat for that. But then when I found out that they actually signed her, I was hyped. And then when they rebranded her and redebuted her, I was like, what are we doing here? You had a good thing going, just keep going with it. But I guess I don't know if they thought people had forgot about her, or they didn't, or they personally didn't like the way she was going, so they went with this. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with it.
She was even in AEW for a hiccup. Remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
That would have been interesting, but I mean, AEW's women division, that's a whole nother subject to get on. But yeah. After the commercial break, Ridge Holland from NXT UK debuts, his eyes set on the North American Championship. Sticks, have you ever seen this guy? Do you know who this is?
I briefly heard about him. I just heard he was a really, really fit. I mean, obviously I think it's rugby, right? Obviously rugby is a really physical sport, but from the hype is like this guy was physical as fuck. So it's just like, it'll be interesting to see if he brings that into his wrestling career. But I'm interested in seeing him next week.
Is NXT UK even still a thing, or is that done?
God, I talked to my girlfriend about this that Thursday night. I was like, I haven't watched NXT UK. I mean, I didn't even really watch it pre-Rona. It's like, I don't even know if they're even still doing shows, or is it that on hiatus, or I haven't watched it. I've been telling myself I've been needing to just sit down on the weekend and just start binging from like the last time I watched it, but I never do. So
we have so much fucking wrestling to watch. I mean, not only all of the shows WWE puts out, but then AEW, and then Dark, and then today we got the Good Brothers pay-per-view. I mean, there's just so much shit to watch. Sorry, NXT UK, but
well, I mean, even Impact is starting to kind of pick up with EC3, with the Good Brothers. I mean, they're even starting to pick up, and I don't even really watch that all that much. And it's like I kind of need to keep an eye on that because I like watching EC3, and especially I don't know if you listened to his Jericho pod interview. Just listening to him talk about that was a really good listen. I really like the Good Brothers, and I felt sorry that they pretty much signed their contract, and then after WrestleMania, they were like, "Hey, see you guys, you're gone." I'm really hoping the best for them. So it's it's just so much stuff to keep tabs on.
Hey, didn't you have a run-in with EC3? I seem to recall. No.
a little bit. We kind of had a little bit back and forth, but yeah. I think I kind of have something that he bought.
Yeah, I heard that through the grapevine. I heard that, but I digress.
I think there's some videos out there.
After Ridge Holland, we got Keith Lee cutting a promo about Karrion Kross. He says bullshit twice, which got the crowd chanting it. He calls out Kross, but fine Cameron Grimes comes out instead. He's going to take that title and go straight to the moon, baby. Bretsky was smiling during this.
He's full chub.
Keith Lee then murders him. Scarlett appears. Cameron tries to take advantage of that, but gets power bombed on the mic. I don't think that was on purpose, but his back did hit the mic, like the corner of the mic. That must have hurt like a motherfucker. Karrion appears on the Tron. He wants a shot at the NXT title. Keith responds with, name the time and place, and I'll whoop that ass. Although Cesar could say it better, but what are your notes on this segment, Stix?
First I had, whoa, Keith Lee cussed. We gonna get full renegade now. calls out Kross, and then who's he get? Bretsky's boy toy himself in all his glory. Bye, Cameron Grimes, baby.
That's right. To the moon.
To the moon, baby. Then Scarlett came out. I could not have seen a more finer lady in red than her. Karrion Kross lays guilt on Keith Lee, pretty much saying, hey, I beat your boy up, and it was not my fault, but your fault, Keith Lee. And gives Lee two options. Pretty much either option was, I'm still going to kick your ass, either or. And Lee tells him, fine, you pick the time and the place, and we'll do this.
It's going to be cool to see Keith Lee and Karrion collide, because Karrion's just been destroying everybody, whether it be a big fat fuck like the resident thick boy or just a jobber. He's been murdering everybody. So it's going to be cool. I mean, he even murdered Tommaso Ciampa, for Christ's sake. So, I mean, to see him go up against Keith Lee, I hope they don't pull an AEW and have this guy murder all these people. He's a new guy and then lose on his first title opportunity, because we know AEW is double dipping on that fuck shit. But, I mean, it'll be sad to see if Keith Lee loses that title immediately, though. So I'm kind of conflicted on how that'll turn out.
It'll be very interesting because, I mean, I know we've all heard the rumors that Vince is super high on Keith Lee. So it's like you had him become, like, champ. He drops the NXT North America title, and it's like you're going to have him have this short of a title reign, and then if he loses at the Cross, are you just like, okay, we're calling him up because we need him on SmackDown? Because I'm assuming he's probably going to go to SmackDown since Vince is just like got a full chub for him. I mean, he could go to Raw, and he'd be one of the guys that could save Raw, but it's just like, I would like to see Keith Lee at least get, at least a pretty good title run, at least depending on a couple pay-per-views, maybe by the end of the month, or maybe by even Royal Rumble. Have him debut in the Royal Rumble, be like, I'm here to stay, let's go. And if Karrion Kross is a strong guy, super good heel, and I hope if he loses, at least it's a good match, which it should be, because Keith Lee's really good at having matches with people, and I hope it's just like it doesn't hurt him, and he can still be a viable heel for any title.
We didn't see Dominik Dijakovic for weeks, and we finally get to see him, and he gets super murdered by Karrion Kross. I mean, they any momentum Dijakovic had, they just stomped it out. I mean, I don't really believe he'll ever win another match after all that shit. Huh?
I was surprised because I had heard a rumor that he was getting called up to Raw. I had heard a rumor he was getting called up on Raw, so I figured, okay, I thought he had kind of had an injury, and then it was like, okay, they're going to call him up. But the next thing I know, we saw him for like 2-3 straight weeks. So I was like, okay. But then now, like you said, he's not on NXT. There's no sight or sound of him on NXT. So it's like, is it that he got so viciously beat up that he's not there? When he does show up, is it going to be he's going to help Keith win? Or is he gone? Well, I mean, yeah, there's so many questions. And yeah, he just basically showed back up, had a good match of Keith, and then just got squashed by Karrion Kross. And then now it's like, see ya.
Any momentum he would have had was completely derailed. It's just now would be the perfect time to send him away. But like you said, he could return to either help or hurt Keith Lee. You'd be like, why didn't you stop him from killing me? But,
yeah,
exactly. That's another sad chapter in the career of Dijakovic, but let's move on. We get a video package for Loomis, Thatcher, and Finn, which got me chubbed up because I was so excited for this match. I said last week as well. Then we get the NXT Tag Team Champions Imperium. Eichner and Barthel take on the Fruit Booty Express. Everrise, sporting tights that had Nasty Boys vibes, but they're not even close to being that good. But I think NXT was just begging fans to switch over to Dynamite because of course Imperium's going to win. But then the more interesting part happened. The Undisputed Era come out and beat the shit out of Imperium. Foreshadowing what we were saying earlier, we could finally see the Imperium Undisputed Era war that we were looking forward to months ago, but COVID ruined it. But Stix, did you take any notes on this Fruit Booty match?
I had Everrise, a.k.a. Fruit Jobbers. First thing I saw, I was like, I forgot Imperium had the tag team championships because we hadn't seen them since, they won them?
Yeah, pretty much.
And announcers trying to sell Everrise as legit tenders. Nice try. I'd rather see my boys, Mr. Tryon, and that savage, foxy mother trucker himself facing these two guys, and I would still put my money on Tryon and Fox in that match. I liked it when they had the one opponent for Everrise draping on the rope, and they hit the double. Imperium hit the double drop kick on him. Thought that was neat. The European Bomb, I think, is a really nice finisher for a tag team.
Yeah.
And then I had UE hits the ring, clean shop. Possibly looking at the reboot of UE versus Imperium at War Games and picking up rivalry from pre-COVID.
I hope we see Walter. I miss seeing Walter. He's the UK champion too, isn't he? I mean, that title hasn't seen any action. I really miss Pete Dunne as well. My God. But after this, we get Bronson Reed video package. He's married. I didn't know this motherfucker was married. He has a cute blonde wife. He then mentions HBK had the boyhood dream come true. Well, the thick boy dream comes true at TakeOver. What did you think of this funny little segment? I couldn't believe he was married.
I thought it was really nice to get a little bit of background history on him. I think he can be a really good wrestler, not like Keith Lee mold, but he's pretty athletic for being a big guy. But just like a lot of people, he needs to put the ring time in. Yeah. He needs to get the bumps in, and I think this is a good start to being on that path. I mean, I don't expect him to win that ladder match.
No, there's no
but
way.
It's nice that he's in there. It's nice he's going to get his first actual being on a takeover card. Being in a ladder match that's pretty high. So it's I hope he's ready for it, and I hope he hits his spots. I hope they give him his opportunity to hit some spots for his own. And I'm really looking forward to it. I hope he does really well. I hope it pans out for him.
Well, hopefully TakeOver 30 is Bronson Reed's coming out party, because I know he had some great matches in the past, but in order to have a coming out party, you need to really impress and show off, and this could possibly be it. I don't think he'll win either, but I think he'll have a hell of a performance getting that fat ass on top of that ladder.
100%.
But after the commercial break, we see Finn stretching in the back, getting ready, while Dexter Loomis, the god of goats, is lurking and watching while tugging and what? Oh,
Wanking?
okay. Let me try that again. We see Dexter Lumis, the god of goats, is lurking and watching while tugging and waxing. What did you think of this funny little segment? We see our god of goats again, Stix.
Anytime Loomis is just lurking when the camera is backstage on somebody, it is just fucking gold.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just have, anytime he does that, you could just have the whole NXT show, just people talking, interviewing people, and him just back there lurking. That show is just awesome.
What if on the when they cut to Tom Phillips and he's alone at the table? What if Dexter was sitting right next to him with the headset on, just staring?
Or just even behind him, like painting, and you see Tom, like you see a half-treated picture of just Tom Phillips, and they go back, they go to a match, and they come back, and it's completely done, and it's like Tom Phillips with like some little bit of blood drops, something like that. Phillips just looks at it like, "Hey Dexter, what's that supposed to mean? Why do I'm not bleeding? What's that supposed to mean?"
Can we get security? Can we get security over here?
Security's gonna be like, "Oh, you're on your own, Tom. Sorry, man."
It's our lunch hour.
Yeah.
But after this, we get a little Regal video message. He's not going to be bullied into making title matches. I guess they felt the need to insert that into the show for some reason. But up next, we had Swerve versus Jake Atlas. He never leaves without his mom's bingo jacket, by the way. Atlas nails a springboard blockbuster, which was very impressive. Even hits the 1%er on Swerve. Swerve hits a fantastic flatliner. Atlas hits Murphy's Law to Swerve from the second rope. They didn't call it Murphy's Law, of course, because that's Murphy's thing. But Swerve nails the house call to a dangling Atlas on the outside. Then the JML driver Swerve pin for the win. Whose house?
Swerve's house.
That's right, Stix. What'd you think about this match?
I noticed Beth was saying that Swerve is a girl dad. Also, that Atlas just got medically cleared, which I didn't know he was actually hurt.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, Swerve is an aspiring rapper, and Atlas is a former gymnast. Okay, nice.
The evidence is piling up, ladies and gentlemen.
It's in the pudding, my man. It's in the pudding. Both have a common enemy in the Cruiserweight champ. And it was a okay match, your typical Cruiserweight match, and let's keep it moving.
Damian Priest interview, I guess next week's triple threat match. It's not going to be as impressive, I think, but, they could blow us away. Damian Priest versus the debuting Hollard versus Oni Lorcan. Lorcan's taking that pin regardless of what happens. Either Damian or Hollard's winning, but Lorcan's going to take that pin because that's what he does. But are you excited for this match, and what do you expect that's going to happen?
Yeah, I'm going to be interested because I have all my expectations are that Damian Priest is going to win. I think it's going to be more of a showcase for the new guy. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be like, are they going to pull the shocker and be like, he's not only debuting, but he's going to win? And guess what? He's in the ladder match. But I fully expect it to be Priest winning, showcase from the new guy, and only taking that 1, 2, 3 on his back like he's good at.
Well, it'd be funny if he actually wins and we get egg on our face for it.
Yeah.
But after the commercial break, we get it. This is the main event, right? Yeah, yep. This is the main event of NXT this week. The match I'd been looking for 7 days. I've been just marking the calendar. We're almost there. The God of Goats, Dexter Lumis versus Thatch Cans, Timothy Thatcher versus the Prince, Finn Balor. I noticed that Dexter Lumis's theme usually sounds like the Stranger Things theme song. However, they kind of tweaked it a little bit. I don't know if this is the first week they've done it, but they kind of added guitar to it. Like, it kind of sounded a little harder this week. I like that. Lumis stands and watches as Finn and Thatcher fight. Eventually, Lumis gets both guys out of the ring, then does a running flip to the outside and lands on his fucking feet. This dude can do it all. Thatcher then starts dominating. He targets Lumis's ankle. I was like, oh, Christ, please don't let Lumis tap out. Thatcher always makes sure to have these psychotic facials during submissions with his fucking toothless grin. I cannot wait to see Pete Dunne and Thatcher fight. That was a side note. Finn at one point hits his head on the bottom rope after Thatcher tossed him with his feet, kind of mirroring what happened to Enzo. I was like, oh boy. While Thatcher had a leg calf lock on Finn, Dexter Lumis slithers up to Thatcher and locks in the silent submission. Thatcher had Finn, so Finn couldn't really break it up. Thatcher then passes out, giving Lumis the win. The God of Goats is going to take over 30. Dexter Lumis qualifies for the North American Championship ladder match. I'm spitting all over my notes. Stix, take us home on your notes for the main event.
Okay, when I saw him first make this match, I figured Lumis was going to win because the dude has the rocket strapped on him. This guy, I would be super surprised if this guy does not come out of TakeOver 30 with that North American Championship.
Whoa, I hope so.
I kind of would like to see Finn in another qualifying match because I think having Finn in the ladder match would have been good because it would have brought name recognition. And Finn's been good in ladder matches, obviously.
Yeah.
Loved that Lumis was just standing there watching Thatcher and Finn go at it to start the match. That was just so awesome.
Yeah.
Lumis leaping out of the ring, it was like, I literally wrote down, Lumis has aerial skills? What the fuck can not this guy do? This guy can literally do everything.
Gotta goats.
Notice that Finn kicked Lumis's leg, and then he kind of started. That's when they started working on the leg, on his ankle. And I noticed that kind of when he kicked it, it kind of bent a little weird. And I was like, "Oh God, please do not let there be an injury," because he was literally he was showing that throughout most of the match. And I was like, God, I hope he's not hurt. And then like what you said with Finn, he hit his back of his head on that. Hit the back of his head, and he's like, "Oh God, please don't be concussed."
Yep.
Like the finish, the double submission, and then Thatcher getting tapped, falling asleep. And then I love how at the end of Lumis's matches, after he taps him out, he just holds their head there and he kind of just starts caressing the ring. This guy is awesome. I love it when he does that. It just builds him up more. It's so awesome.
I'm praying and I'm thanking the God of wrestling that they didn't have Thatcher tap out Lumis. That would have killed his mystique. That would have ruined his character. I'm glad it ended this way. Now I'm hoping they're going to go the route that has been discussed previously with Finn. Hopefully, if the Dream isn't in jail, that we get Finn versus the Dream at TakeOver 30. I think that would be a great match.
I would, depending on how they would split it up, if they were to do 2 days of NXT 30, I think that would be a very underrated main event if they had that, because both guys can go, they can build it up, and then both guys can go in the ring.
Definitely. Have you heard anything about Velveteen lately?
I haven't heard a peep from him, and it worries me because, you heard about all the stuff kind of with the phone exchange with people, and it's like, they kept him going, but then I was like, when he lost to Cole, I was like, I hope they didn't, because you had heard rumors that he was possibly going to win. And it was like, okay. Then they went through with the match. It was like, okay, well, maybe they know that this stuff, his Dream was right. Like, this stuff he was not in the wrong. And then you haven't seen him ever since. So it's like, oh, man, I really hope that it's not true. And I really hope there isn't anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, we shall see in the weeks to come. But moving on, we now reach AEW Dynamite. Not Dynamite, Dynamite. We kick it off with Inner Circle, the entire group, versus Best Friends and Friends. And I wrote, fuck off, Marco, because, that's just the way I think. Sammy screaming along with Jericho's theme. We all missed that. Jericho still wearing his orange juice jacket stained. Orange Cassidy starts out doing lazy kicks to Hagar. The Inner Circle swarm Orange Cassidy. Then there was a dive fest, courtesy of Best Friends and Friends. ending with Marco piggybacking on Luchasaurus into all of Inner Circle. A massive best friends hug sandwich with Orange Cassidy in the middle. Sammy tried to dive on them to mess it up, but they all moved, and then they jumped his ass. And of course, Marco was tossed around because that's in his contract. I don't remember seeing the memo that this was a Tornado 10-man tag match, JR says. They said Aubrey can't do much about it. Jericho flips off crowd. Look at this. This is for you. That got a pop out of me. Sammy sticking his fucking tongue out of his mouth way too much again. Tony and Taz are laughing at JR when he said Hager had put him in the ankle lock. They were teasing him because JR was just, he wouldn't stop talking about it. During a slugfest between Hagar and Luchasaurus mask kept falling off, and JR goes, I think I know that guy. Luchasaurus with the hell of a spinning lizard to Sammy. It's basically the Black Mass. And then Taz says, I think that happened on my honeymoon too. They all got a quick laugh. With a distraction from generic music Hardy, Luchasaurus hits a Trouble in Paradise to a seated Sammy pin for the win. Hardy then taunts Sammy from the stands. Welcome back, Stix. What are your thoughts on the opening match of Dynamite?
I literally I wrote down Inner Circle versus Best Friends and Jurassic Express, but then when I saw Best Friends and Friends, I was like, okay, scratch out Jurassic Express, Best Friends and Friends. Jericho still sporting that $7,000 jacket covered in orange juice that smells like cat piss. Sweet teas by the Best Friends. Those are going to be new cops that you got to get from AEWshop.com.
Nice.
Notice Aubrey reffing another Jericho match. Love the chemistry that those two have between each other.
Yeah.
Notice too, we just allowing Marco Stunt just to jump in a lot of these matches. I mean, Aubrey saw him literally, when they did the jump fest outside. Notice that he was in that. It's like, that's WWE. You're either getting DQ'd or you're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Santana and Ortiz did some nice double team tag work outside on Trent. I like that. It actually wasn't that bad for a 10-man tag because there was, like they talked about, the announcers had talked about, there's a lot of moving parts in it. And it's just so hard for one referee to do that. And I thought it was pretty good for a 10-man tag. And like that they had Matt Hardy, his, like you said, generic-ass music hit.
Yeah.
And I like that they're kind of keeping that feud going on between him and Sammy because they could have just, when they had, when Sammy was gone for, I think it was, a couple of weeks, they could have probably just went ahead and said, okay, we're just going to scrap it. But it was nice that they kind of kept that going. And they really got to quit Sammy trying to tongue punch somebody's air box. I mean, this is just horrible. That's one of the things that turned me off about him. Otherwise, he's doing really good. Love that he's just horribly karaokeing Jericho's song. That's what helped out. That adds to the heat to him. And otherwise, not too bad of an opening match for Dynamite.
I guess Aubrey doesn't say anything about Marco because it'd be like calling a retard out for doing double dribble in a basketball game. They just, Marco's their little special needs boy on their team. She's like, he's harmless.
We've seen it before how they kind of go different with a lot of their matches. Some of them they allow a little bit of outside interference. Some of them they let them do a little bit extra than what you normally could. And sometimes they're straight down the middle. They're just like, nope, can't do that. But it's kind of neat that they allow AEW does do that. But then it's kind of like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
come on.
Can you even remember if they ever DQ'd anybody? I can't. It doesn't come to memory immediately.
I don't think they have ever since they've started up, which really surprises me.
Because remember, like the first 2 months of Dynamite, how every episode would end with 10 people getting in the ring and just fighting each other. That's how every show went off the air. But I don't remember DQs. But anyways, after the commercial break, JR must have heard me last week. As they came back from commercial, he holds up his mask. He doesn't wear it, but he holds it up. We have our masks. John Moxley, with his side tattoo and all, cuts a promo on Cage and Ricky Starks. I don't start fights, but I always finish them. Pretty good promo. Do you have any notes on the JR mask situation or the Moxley promo?
I didn't take any on it, but like you said, I noticed that when they came back, right when they said it, I was like, I think I heard this before. Oh yeah, Mangria was talking about this last week, and he held up like, we got our mask and we got our corona, we got our test, we got our bracelets. It's like, well, yeah, I noticed that. I mean, everybody in the crowd's pretty much wearing a mask. All you guys have like 20 bracelets on, so it's like I know you got, and I've heard Jericho's talk as famously rubbed this in people's faces. We test better than WWE. All they're doing is just temperature tests.
Yeah.
Look what happened. They got an outbreak.
And I get it, JR. If you put your mask on, we won't be able to hear you during commentary. I just thought it was funny how close you're sitting to Taz and Tony, and you guys aren't wearing masks, but, I digress.
Yeah.
Up next.
John Moxley promo is just a typical John Moxley promo.
Yeah. Straight to the point. I did notice that new side tattoo, though. I like size because Raphael from the Ninja Turtles has it, and he's my favorite Ninja Turtle. But, up next, we finally get to see the overhyped Warhorse versus Cody Jarrett with Arn in his Waffle House menu. And belt. I noticed he had a weight belt with him. Cody was already wearing his. Why was Arn sporting a belt as well? I don't know. But, by the way, Warhorse weighs 4,000 pounds of heavy metal, and he's here to rule ass. I noticed that he's wearing Daniel Bryan-like boots, the little furry boots, but the notes I have here.
Brought to you by the UGG collection?
Yeah. I wrote here, Warhorse and Cody crisscross run the ropes, ends with a nice lariat from Warhorse. Warhorse looks like if Tatanka and Ultimate Warrior had butt sex, and this fool slid out of one of their chili holes. During the commercial, Cody starts working on Warhorse's leg. Warhorse does the Daniel Bryan stomps to Cody, where he holds the arms and he steps on his face. He hits the Macho Man elbow drop, but of course, we all know it. Cody Jarrett, he picks up the victory with the figure 4. Sticks, what are your notes on the debut of Warhorse?
Noticed how the announcers were hyping how big of a match it is for both competitors. Like you had keyed on, 4,000 pounds of heavy metal and is here to rule ass. I had down Warhorse equals Trucker Gene Simmons. Coach Arn gave a pep talk. Noticed that in the picture-in-picture, I don't remember what move Cody did, but after he did a move, he started doing push-ups, and Arn started waving his hands like, what are you doing? Don't do that. I put down after that, Cody getting cocky, has had a moment. I think he had a moment when he was facing Sonny Kiss last week. He kind of was acting like he's getting a little cocky, so it's like, okay, you're going to keep doing this, and this is going to cost you, and then is Arn gonna get mad at you, and what's gonna come of that? Are we gonna get a split? After the Cody winning, they showed Arn, he kind of had that, like, we got lucky.
Yeah.
And then we saw one of the new members of AEW come out. Strong Island, baby, came out and helped Cody after the match.
I was gonna get to that. Yeah. After the Cody Jarrett picks up the win, shockingly, Dark Order jumped both of them. They were about to They were about to attack Arn when Matt Cardona from Strong Island comes out for the save. Zack Ryder joins AEW. Sticks, are you excited to see what they do with Matt Cardona in AEW?
Yeah, I'm a little interested. I mean, I think we all kind of knew that he was probably going to show up on AEW, and showed up looking jacked. I mean, yeah. Dude hasn't missed a gym day since he got canned. So
well, all the theme parks are closed. He can't ride roller coasters, so he's in the gym now.
Oh yeah. But I think wasn't it Zanka and Jake that kind of released like the contract numbers of what what Zack Ryder was making at the time. It was like, Jesus Christ, he's making that much, and he barely even wrestles on TV. So it'll be kind of interesting to see if we ever get the contract numbers of how much he's making, because I would be very surprised if he's making that much at AEW, unless they're going to make him actually do some work. But if he can probably headline AEW Dark a lot for the contract numbers that he's probably making.
I wonder if he's going to be in the Nightmare Family now.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't get a gay tattoo on his neck. But after the commercial break, Tony started talking about All Out. Inner Circle interrupts Jericho, pissed off. Hey, Sammy, what's son of a bitch in Spanish? Son of el bitch. In 2 weeks, Jericho versus Orange Cassidy 2. Demon orange juice is in Jericho's coat. That's why it starts to stink like cat pee. He also challenges Orange Cassidy to a debate on August 5th. And Santana said Jericho smells like cat pee. And then as Inner Circle leaves, Ortiz stands there in front of Tony and says, like cat pee, Tony. And then they leave. Inner Circle and their fucking interviews are always money, man. I love it. Did you take notes on this?
I wrote down $7,000 jacket, and you don't get it dry cleaned. Keys on it, son of L bitch, because I believe Sammy put it down again, because I think it was Marco Stunt stole his phone. I think it was like a couple days ago, and either took a picture or took some video, and then Sammy like retweeted it, and it was like, you son of L beach. And I had written down too, demon orange juice, smells like cat pee, and I put down that I think it was a Santana, one of the, either Santana or Ortiz looked at Tony, was like, smells like cat pee, Tony.
Fucking love the Inner Circle and their promos. They're all money. After this, we get yet another Tony segment. Tony in a pre-shot video contract signing with FTR. I was kind of confused on what was going on at first. I was like, is this a contract signing for a match or what? But then Arn Anderson, the expert of tag team, shows up to look over his Waffle House menu and the contract. There's strict tag team rules enforced now because that's what they wanted in their contract. FTR signs on as AEW talent. Also, there's going to be a tag team appreciation night August 12th. And then Hangman shows up with booze to celebrate. He's chugging this, I don't know if it was Walgreens brand whiskey or not, but a little too strong for FTR sticks. What'd you think about this segment?
First thing I wrote down was like, so FTR has been wrestling about contracts? Arn's a contract reader / negotiator. Put down Paige brought in celebratory drinks. Possible faction between FTR and Paige coming down the road.
The alcoholics, man. The alcoholics, yeah.
And also put down, could Arn possibly manage FTR?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tag team dude.
Just a few things. I mean, I was just surprised that they had a contract. It's like, these guys have wrestled like what, 3 or 4 matches so far since an AEW, and it's like, you're just now hyping them signing their contracts. What? I mean, I understand bringing some shine to them, you know, obviously keeping them involved at least somewhat on Dynamite, but it's like, okay.
They wrestled at Fyter Fest too, didn't they? Without contracts, so they had the Rey Mysterio deal going on here.
I think, didn't they wrestle with the Bucks? Was that on Fyter Fest?
It was an 8-man. Right?
Like, what are we doing here? It's like, I mean, unless it was just something to keep them on TV, on TNT TV.
Yeah.
So that way they fill in people's minds, but it's just, you let them wrestle without contracts. Okay.
Well, good thing AEW did snag them, or else they would have went to Impact like the Good Brothers. But after this, we get Stu Grayson and Evil Uno of the Dark Order versus Hangman, Adam Page, and Kenny Omega in an AEW Tag Team Championship matchup. Anna Jay's in the Dark Order? ? Of course, we get the nameplate above Hangman. Didn't like the white wrist tape because last week he said he was going to give it a try. Mr. Brody Lee pacing back and forth with Colt. He joins commentary, Colt Cabana. Hangman was getting jumped by Dark Order during Omega's entrance. Omega's like, what the fuck? So he goes in there and they finally get the match started. Evil Uno must have went keto or has AIDS because he lost a lot of weight. Evil Uno with the chest rake. I haven't seen that before. I've seen the back rake, but I never see the chest rake. It was basic but noticeable. It was a very good tag team versus a decent tag team. Stu Grayson did a somersault leap onto Hangman on the outside, and they cut to the corner camera angle, and we missed it completely. We didn't even see what he hit or how he hit it or whatever. Uno hit a nice senton to Omega. As the match continued, I got more and more impressed with the Dark Order. I'm like, hey, these guys, they've been working their shit out lately. Omega and Page hit the V-trigger last shot combo for the win. It kind of looked like Grayson botched a save. Like the ref was all hanging out. It kind of looked like maybe Grayson was supposed to take the ref out or something to prevent the loss. But even Page, when it hit the 3, he was like, what? We won? I thought that was kind of a interesting note. What did you think about this tag team matchup, Stix?
First thing I had down was Caesar's chick, Anna Jay, in the Dark Order? Huh, okay. Notice that when Kenny was coming out, Hangman jumped Dark Order. So it's just like, what the fuck? It's like the guy, he's got pyro, he's got his, he's got to point to the sky, got to do the whole bang thing. And then I was like, what is going on here? It's like, what are you doing? Just put down, slow start, but it ended up being a really good tag match. Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Grayson, really good. Wouldn't mind seeing these two have at least one more match, because I thought towards the end it was a really good match.
Yeah.
Like you said with the possible botched finish, it was like, because Grayson was acting like he was coming in and then the ref's hand already came down. So it was like, was that a mess up? Because like you said, Paige was like, oh, we won. So it's like, was there a swerve? Did something not go?
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it was a pretty good match. I thought it was slow starting, but it ended up being a really good tag match. Wouldn't mind seeing these two to go at it again.
Well, hey, it was a hell of a lot better than Warhorse's match. After this, Mr. Brody Lee tells Colt to leave like a pissed off parent. He was very mad at the Dark Order. He sics a gang of the Dark Order to attack the Elite. FTR to the rescue. Are you surprised to see oh yeah, they set up a match for next week, huh? It's like a 12-man fucking tag match or something. What did you think about the punishment that Brody Lee did to the Dark Order, scolding them like a angry parent?
Maybe it's planting seeds for a possible maybe down the road that either Brody Lee gets kicked out of the Dark Order. But I also noticed too that he kept emphasizing, "Hey Kenny, thanks for showing up."
Yeah.
So it's like, are we setting that up for a match down the road? Because I think he said it at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he did.
But otherwise, I mean, FTR and the Bucks hit the ring. They cleared it. Are they gonna keep being associated with them? Or is it just a circumstance? It's like, oh hey, we're both here. You guys are here. We're protecting these guys. We don't like the Dark Order. But you thought this week's 10-man tag had a lot of moving parts. Wait till next week.
My God. You know what else? It just jogged my memory right now. When Brody Lee was saying that they have the numbers and the Dark Order like rose from the thing. Did you notice that some of them were hesitant to jump the barricade? They were like waiting. They're like, do we do it now? Do we do it now?
Well, I didn't even know they had 6 people in the Dark Order.
It's still an unknown number how many fuckers are in this Dark Order, because they can get enhancement talent and be like, hey, you're gonna be in the Dark Order tonight. All right, here's a mask. Come on.
Well, I mean, we've had what? I think there's Brody. It started out with Evil Uno and Grayson. Then you found out Brody Lee. Then they brought in, I think, a couple of guys. And they brought in that number 5, who I think was supposed to be, they hyped up pretty good. Then you had Colt Cabana. And the next thing you know, you just saw like out of the ring. It's like the putties from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
It's like, there's so many of these guys.
Yeah.
Where the hell are they coming from?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that, like you said, the 12-man fucking tag. Oh, my God. Is the ring even allowed to hold that much weight? That sounds like a fire issue.
You're gonna need to do like War Games rings. You're gonna need to put like half on one side, half on the other, and just do it that way.
And then Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, has something to say about Swole. Hands a note to Tony. Oh no, wait, that was earlier. Now she says, "You can face me only if you defeat an opponent of my choice." So they're building the Britt versus Swole match for All Out, but of course, Britt Baker had that surgery, so she cannot compete until then. Who do you think Britt Baker will pick to face Swole to, for Swole to eventually beat and have their match at All Out?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume, I guess the natural choice would be probably like someone like Nyla Rose.
Well,
I mean,
I thought it was obvious, though. I thought it would be Rebel.
Yeah, I thought too, but I also kind of started thinking, we haven't seen Awesome Kong for quite a while, and I think she signed with AEW because remember she had that thing with Brandy. They were gonna be like some kind of like action or something like that, but then
Nightmare Collective.
Yeah. They didn't axe that, so it's like, where is she at? Because this would be kind of a perfect opportunity to bring her back, but probably gonna be Rebel more than likely.
Oh my God! Could you imagine Awesome Kong? She's just murder Swole, man. It don't matter how many Power Rangers Swole dresses up as. Kong's gonna step on her.
Yep.
Well, after the commercial break, we get Diamante, the Diamond video package. I still could care less about her. Diamante versus Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champ. It was a championship match, right? Or no? Was it non-title?
Oh, I want to say I think it was a title match.
Yeah, it probably was because she beat that her mirror image of herself last week. I guess that was a number one contendership match. But anyway, Shida dominates beginning of the match. This was the low point for me. This was the get up and go to the bathroom, make a snack. I could care less about this match. It was very slow paced. It was kind of sloppy. I'm not a fan of Diamante. I didn't care. After the Shining Wizard, Shida wins. I think them following the tag title match hurt them. But did you take any notes on this? Because I could really care less about this match.
I noticed, like, on the nameplate that they put down that Shida was looking to become the first 20-win woman wrestler in AEW because at the time she was sitting on like 19-7 or something like that. She had 19 wins. JR put down that I think Shida went to go. She did the $1 million knee lift, but JR was like, "It's $2 million because of inflation." And they got to redo that women's title because that thing still even looks small on Shida.
Yeah.
But like you said, it was a low point. It was one of those I was like, okay, I need to get a refresher on drinks, on something. I got to go bathroom. This was the point to go do it.
Well, yeah, just like the Imperium match on NXT, this was kind of like that match on AEW for me. But the Women's Tag Team Cup Tournament rules were laid out. It's a random draw. You must draw a color. Matching colors become a team, and the selections are final. I kind of really like this. I like the randomness of this because anybody could be a team. We could see Britt Baker, and what if Britt Baker and Swole become a team on accident? That would be funny. Then they reveal the big silver cup trophy. It looks way better than the Uterus Cup in WWE. Nyla and Vicky Guerrero are interviewed. She picks her color. It's purple. Someone else picked purple. The interviewer, Sarah, I forgot her name. And guess who it is? It's the returning Aryan. Girl, bye. She drew purple as well. They are a team. Funkadactyl has risen from the ashes and become a phoenix in AEW Styx. Are you excited to see Cameron, a.k.a. Aryan, back in the world of professional wrestling?
Sure. The only thing we're missing is Brodius to come back. I mean, it would have been neat to at least have him do one match when they're kind of still all in WWE, but I guess he's doing pretty good working for Fox News. But it's neat because she was one of the last ones you probably would have thought that would have showed up on AEW.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw on Twitter they were showing like pictures, like, because wasn't she on like Stone Cold? Was she on like some program that Stone Cold was on, and he like was like dressing her down or something like that, like talking to her or something like that. I saw something on Twitter about it because they showed a picture of her and Stone Cold was standing there talking to him. I thought it looked like it was from like Broken Skull Ranch, but I could be wrong.
That's possible. I mean, the person who succeeded the most out of that whole trio was Naomi, obviously, and then Brodus Clay eventually left, and then Cameron, she hung on by a thread. She's on Total Divas, then she completely vanished, released by WWE. I saw her at the LA Fan Fest where I met The Undertaker. Nobody was at her table. I felt really bad for her. She just kept walking up and down the halls with Yoshitatsu. Like, neither of them were getting fans at her table. I felt bad, but oh well. I mean, Cody does have a flavor for the chocolate, so maybe that got her ticket into AEW. But I mean, hey, you know what? Everybody gets a second chance. This is her second chance, and I hope she impresses because she's got to earn that spot, because I'm pretty sure a lot of other women were wanting that spot.
Well, I mean, I'm already figuring that whichever team Brandy's on is probably going to win, because she's been hyping. I mean, when her and Allie we're 3-0, we're 4-0 in women's tag division, and we would be tag team champions if there's a division. And then, bam, guess what we got? We got a women's tag team tournament. So it's like, okay,
wait a minute, is she Brandy Jarrett?
Very much so. Very much so.
Oh no. Well, after this, MJF and Wardlow are heading to the stage. There was a lot of details during the picture-in-picture and commercial, like the MJF 2020 "We Deserve Better." He's shaking hands and kissing fake babies during the commercial. And then we get MJF standing in the ring behind a Burberry podium. I had to throw that detail in there. I know Cesar would have. He starts giving a speech. He calls the spectators bench warmers, says Mox came from a place of titans, brother. He calls Mox, he says that Mox calls all the shots. It's not really a change from where he came from. MJF, he gives a great speech. Says Mox is cosplaying as a Stone Cold wrestler. He calls him Dictator John, blames the world's problems on Mox's reign, and then he challenges Mox to a championship match. We deserve better. Wow, this was the best MJF promo I have ever heard. He went on, like a 10-minute speech and did not stutter once. He didn't stutter. He didn't stammer like I do all the time. This dude's a true pro. Sticks, what are your notes on this incredible segment from MJF?
First off, I know, like you talked about in the picture-in-picture, he shook the hands of, like, the commentators. Then he got hand sanitizer. I think it was from Wardlow. Yeah. And then he kissed that baby. And then he got mouthwash from Wardlow. I put down, forget Joe Biden. We need MJF versus Donald Trump for at least 5 televised debates.
Oh, wow.
This guy, he has been getting better and better and better with more TV time. This is the heel that these guys need to get behind and need to push. If there is going to be a guy that's going to beat Mox and possibly put Mox back into that face title chasing mode, this is the guy. And I just can't wait. I just can't wait for the promos going forward between these two and just building the promo.
You know what I'm shocked is they had Mox take out Jericho. They had Mox take out, Cage. They had Mox defend against Hager. He's faced all these, like, bigger-than-life people. And to fight someone, like, visually, MJF doesn't seem like the guy who would dominate Mox. But MJF needs to be champion. That's going to bring – I mean, they're already winning the ratings war. They won this week, surprise. If MJF gets that championship, forget it. They're going to win every week when MJF comes on with that title. He's going to have killer promos every fucking week. I cannot wait to see the next chapter and how Mox responds to MJF after this promo.
Well, they did a good job of having him win that Diamond Dynamite ring, because every time he comes out, so you can only imagine if he gets that title. I mean, he's a young kid. He seems to be keeping his nose out of trouble, which is really good, because that's going to get you pretty far in the industry if you can just be a businessman, company man, toe the line. He's good on interactions on social media, which is what you need to bring eyes to the business. And I know we have always talked about with like WWE and even AEW, when we start allowing actual fans in, some of these bases need to get back into like the title chasing picture. This would be perfect for AEW to have him be that guy. And then if we slowly start opening, states start opening, allowing you to come in, if you can have like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 fans, and he's that perfect guy, because not only it would be the perfect heel to have to be the Mox's face, but he's good at just getting straight heat from fans.
You know he's gonna keep doing the WWE digs too. He's gonna be calling out Renee Young and all kinds of shit.
He's the perfect guy. He's the guy that they need to get behind and strap.
If you ask me, this should have closed out the show. But after this, we get the main event of Dynamite. It is supposed to be Darby Allin and Jon Moxley versus Cage and Ricky Starks in a all-out falls, like hardcore, I'm gonna murder you tag team matchup. But Darby no-shows the entrance. They're wondering where the hell he is. Mox comes out. Taz and Ricky, they cut a promo. Ricky was cut off by their music. I thought it was funny. I guess that was backstage saying, like, hurry up, hurry up. Darby coffin drops off the stage piece onto Cage and Starks. That was pretty sweet. The match starts. Darby and Ricky in the ring. Cage and Mox are on the outside. Darby eventually does a dive onto Cage on the outside, but Cage didn't catch him. He kind of botched it. Darby gets back up and like leaps into Cage's arms to correct it. The Mox suicide dives onto them. The trash can is introduced. This is a no DQ tornado tag. Is Darby's arm tattoo new? That skeleton, is that new?
I think I saw it a couple of weeks ago. He put down that it was finished, and it was like, holy crap.
Okay.
And I kind of wonder, because he hadn't been on, they sold the angle that he was injured after. I think it was it Revolution that they had that
concussion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, he kind of had the time to be able to do it, because otherwise he was just doing video promos and but it's a gnarly looking tattoo.
Is he gonna get the full fucking skeleton, like just all tattoo? He doesn't even need a Halloween costume.
It would not surprise me if he does that.
I hope his girlfriend stops him, because come on, Darby, relax. But Cage body slams and power bombs Darby and Mox at the same time. JR says Darby is a slinky with a heart. Is it just me, or was this sloppy as fuck?
Slop Fest 2020 was horrible. I think that played into also why we thought probably MJF should have closed the show, because after seeing this, it was like, ugh.
Exactly. Darby lands a coffin drop as Mox lands the paradigm shift to Cage. Cage kicks out. Darby busts out the skateboard with tacks under it, leaps off the top rope, and lands on Ricky Stark's back. It looked extremely fucking painful. The look on Ricky Stark's face, they kept replaying and replaying and replaying. And if you look at Ricky Stark's face, you could just be like, oh, God. He gets the pin for the win. And then it was announced, they weren't aware of it, but it was announced that next week, Darby will take on Mox for the title. Stix, take us home with your AEW main event notes.
Notice that obviously when they had Darby's and John's entrances first, and Darby was conspicuous, so it's like, okay, were they gonna be carrying him out over his shoulder? But then you notice that when both Starks and Cage came out, Darby was hiding, dropped the coffin drop on him. Point out, like you had already pointed out, there was slop fest in it. Darby flew out of the ring, just essentially just slid off Cage, had to jump back onto him to finish the move, had the horrible suplex into the German suplex or belly to back to the possible finish attempt, and that was just sloppy because Starks didn't catch him right. The tack skateboard. Oh my God, the look on Starks' face, but then also just looking at his back, just watching like the blood like coming down, and then noticing it's like that literally, some of those tacks just raked him, and then some of them stuck in his back. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I hope you got hazard pay for this, man, because that was just a horrible. That did not look good.
Who the fuck put this match together? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I think it's been said that they don't book the matches; they let the wrestlers do it. Well, someone needs to sit down with all four of those guys and be like, we need to talk. We need to have someone parental buys your guys' matches.
I could see Randy Orton at home watching this main event going, slow it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down, because a lot of their botches was because they were going so goddamn fast. Had they taken the match slower pace, maybe there'd be fewer botches. But, this shouldn't have main evented. MJF should have main evented. Sorry, I cut you off. Do you have any more notes?
It's one of those things that were, like, if you tape these, like, maybe the afternoon before, you can. I mean, I don't know if they were pressed against time, but you can do the matches. You can kind of go in and fix them, because WWE does that. Like, they'll tape them, and then if there's any botches and they need to do it, like you said, Orton would have been like, slow it down, but he also would have said, we need more tacks. Give me more tacks. But they should have closed out with MJF. He's your heater. He's your closer. That would have been the perfect way. If he would have came out, Moxley's still in the ring, they would have had the podium, and they would have had like his PR team. You see MJF's PR team hurrying up, bringing out the podium and all that stuff. And these slow plays coming in, does the whole kissing baby, shaking hands, and then just undresses Moxley with his words, and then that's how you go on. That would have been perfect.
That would have been much better, but we made it, Stix. We broke down NXT. We broke down AEW. We made it through episode 50 of the After Party Hangover. Stix, do you have any closing words or plugs you want to give to the peoples?
Not too bad for the first ever After Party Hangover Zoom meeting.
There we go.
Would have been better if we had some better wrestling. I mean, I don't know about you, but I kind of figured AEW was going to win the ratings when you kind of saw the matchups of what the shows were going to have.
Yeah.
And it's, as much as I know, I have more, I lean more towards WWE with like NXT. I kind of hope they win ratings more, but it's just like when you see some of the stuff they do compared to AEW, it's like, come on, guys, you got to step your game up. You got to spread some of this stuff out. Don't just throw it all into one card and then have 2 or 3 really bad TV cards.
I like how they're going to have a tag team appreciation night when every week there's nothing but tag team matches. It's like, well, we already appreciate them. You guys do it every week.
Damn straight.
Hey, I can't believe I just noticed this now, but can you turn your phone sideways? Oh, see, there we go. Now our screens are equal. I noticed throughout the entire thing that your screen was like this, but
well, see, I can slide mine where yours is the bigger picture and I'm the smaller on the bottom. Well, I slid it, and there was my video feed on the top and yours was on the bottom, and they were equally. But this, I should have known this, because this takes better when you hold your phone sideways. It obviously takes better photos and video. So
it's all right. You'll be back.
Hopefully.
But did you have any plugs or shout outs?
Just want to keep saying, you guys on the tripod, freaking phenomenal. Love it. You guys have done more than pick up the slack, since we're only getting 1 to possibly 2, little after parties a month. So I just want to say, Zanka and Jake, man, you guys better watch your backs, because the tripod is coming for the masses. And keep up the good work. Love the work you're doing on a tripod. Love the work you're doing with APPW. So awesome, dude. When you dropped that link for Dynamite last night, and I don't know about you, every time I say Dynamite, I always end up saying Dynamite.
I have to catch myself. Like when we were doing it earlier, I was like, Dynamite.
You're doing a damn good job when people have issues saying that. So keep up the good work on it. It's such a good job. You're doing a damn good job, man. I just want to say that. Awesome job. Thank you for having me on, and look forward to listening to more tripods. Look forward to listening to watching, obviously, more now after party hangover Zoom fests. So I look forward to it. Just good job. Thank you for having me. And this is awesome, man.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And speaking of the tripods, tonight debuts the first ever tripod beer runs. It's completely detached from the Steel Real After Party universe. This is its own thing. The tripod beer runs. It's gonna be like the tripod sessions, but instead of breaking down detail by detail, we're just gonna talk about the highlights of the entire week, which includes Raw and SmackDown, possibly the Good Brothers pay-per-view. I'm not sure what time it's gonna be, but yeah. And then like you said, APPW, the new episode has already debuted. So the Mighty 20, who is watching this now, head on over, check that out. There was a title change. There was all kinds of crazy shit. There were Zoom meetings. Check it out. New episodes drop every week. This will be the format going forward for the After Party Hangover. And then the tripod beer runs later. Thank you, Stix, for your time. Thank you for your input. Thank you, everybody who's watching. And you know what? After 50 episodes, I'm still doing it, baby. All hail Linda's Bush.